What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Pure Rhodes Profiles. I'm David from Pure Rhodes Disc Golf. If this is your first time here, this is a series where we sit down with the people behind disc golf, their stories, their journeys, and what makes this sport so special. Today's guest is the captain of the Great Lakes Disc Team and someone who has spent countless hours helping build the disc golf community. Please help me welcome Will. Help me, Will, with your last name because I'm going to butcher it.
It's Goeringer.
Goeringer. Will, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, Will, for people meeting you for the first time, which this is my first time meeting you face to face, who are you and how are you connected to disc golf?
Yeah, so my name's Will Goeringer. I'm a professional disc golfer in Southeast Michigan. I'm probably most well known in the Discraft community. I was an admin on the largest Discraft group on Facebook, Discraft All Day. I was on the Discraft Underground team from 2018 to 2023 and very active in that community. And as you mentioned, I'm also the team captain of Great Lakes Disc. So pretty well known in the Michigan disc golf scene as well.
Wow. Um, so what is your home course? What would you consider your home course?
My home course. So I learned to play at Firefighters Park. It's a course in Troy, Michigan. It's probably one of the most popular courses in the state. I learned to play there, played there religiously for probably 7 years. But the closest course to me is a course called Hawthorne Park. It's in Pontiac. Newer course. It's probably where I'll go most often after work if I need to play around. But both of those are pretty important to me for different reasons.
Okay. So how long have you been playing disc golf?
So I was introduced to disc golf from a friend and coworker of mine in 2013, but I didn't start competing and I didn't join the PDGA until 2015. So been playing since 2013. It's been 13 years now since I've been playing disc golf.
Okay. So what hooked you and made disc golf stick?
It didn't take very long. So, at Firefighters Park, when I was playing with that friend of mine who introduced me, from the walk to hole six, you walk over a little bridge through a clearing of trees, and the hole itself, it's maybe a little under 400 feet. But I was walking over the bridge, and I saw a guy throw a tee shot and get almost pin high, and I had never seen someone throw a disc that far before, and just the sight of seeing a disc fly that far I immediately, had a mental click of I want to learn how to do that. So that was the moment that got me hooked, and it hasn't stopped ever since then.
I can see why. Yeah, that would. Yeah. So was there a moment where it shifted from casual to something more serious?
Yeah, the because when I started playing, it was just casual rounds with that friend of mine. But at Firefighters Park, there was a huge league that played every Monday night there, and it didn't take long for me to start playing there every Monday as well. And there was a group of people that I met with and started playing with consistently. And it was at that point, I don't think it was that year. I think it was the following year, so 2014. I started playing that league every single week with those same people, and the keeping score every single week and trying to improve and having that reference of how you did the previous week and over the season. You start to compare yourself against your previous self and against the people you're playing with, and I think that was the point where I really started to take it a little more seriously.
So who or what influenced you most as you were learning?
Probably my friend Darren. He was one of those people who I met at leagues that night, and he was of the group of people we played with most consistently. He was the guy to beat. His approach game and his putting were the best I had ever seen, and we very quickly became rivals. So he kind of helped me with my form when I first started playing, and then as I got better, we were neck and neck, and he was the guy I always was striving to beat. So he's probably the one who influenced me and inspired me the most when I first started playing.
Okay. So what's been the hardest part of your disc golf journey so far?
The hardest part of my journey is, um, Honestly, just the grind and the climb. I'm a very competitive person, and once I started competing, I really cared about those results. I really cared about getting my rating higher, and the hardest part is because I didn't play any sports growing up, so getting very involved in the competitive side of a sport and going through the ups and downs and successes and failures that competitive disc golf brings, and learning how to deal with that. It taught me a lot of things, and obviously I've been competing for a very long time. But just the journey of disc golf and competitive disc golf and striving to be better, it's quite a journey in itself.
Oh yeah. So what's something people might not realize about your path in disc golf?
Mm, I think because I'm very I do a lot of social media. I do a lot of posting about like my journey and my career, and I think what people don't see or don't always realize is the failures or the tough side of competitive disc golf. Everyone's always posting about their wins and their successes, but they're not always posting about when they don't have a great day on the course or when they take dead last at a tournament. And those days happen to all of us, and I think it's important to realize and to understand that those days are going to happen, and just trying to be honest with yourself on what you could have done better or what you need to practice on, and not dwelling on the things that go wrong, but just realizing that things will go wrong, and just to you know just work on becoming a better person and a better disc golfer, and not dwelling on it, but realizing that those things do happen.
So how would you describe your play style?
So I'm gonna steal a phrase from a friend of mine. He described my play style. I'm really good at shapes and distances. I'm not as much of a power thrower, but if I'm learning a new disc or the disc's in my bag, I'm really good at learning what shapes that disc will do, understanding the stability, and carving through the woods or getting the disc to where it needs to go. I'm really good at figuring out those intricacies of the flight, and I think that's something I specialize at for sure.
Okay. So what part of your game are you most confident in right now?
I definitely think I'm the most confident off the tee. I would say getting to the green is probably my greatest strength. I'm fairly comfortable and confident in most styles of throwing, backhand, forehand. But yeah, I would say greens and regulation is probably my greatest strength right now.
There you go. See, that kind of makes me laugh because I would say mine right now is probably my putting and my approach. My
Okay.
drives, I cannot throw a drive to save my life right now. I'm just my 18-year-old son, almost 19-year-old son. That's the other part of Pure Rhodes Disc Golf.
Hmm.
He's trying to teach me how to throw like he is because I mean he's out there effortlessly bombing these drives, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And so he's trying to teach me, and oh, it's been a work in progress, and it's still gonna be a work in progress. But that's half the fun is just keep learning. So
Yeah, and it's
yeah,
amazing what the kids can do these days.
uh huh. So what's the biggest thing you're still working on?
Biggest thing I'm still working on is definitely putting. It's funny because it's always kind of been putting, for my entire disc golf career, and it's gotten better, but I get really anxious on the putting green, especially when it matters. And as I've gotten better and my rating's gotten higher, I'm playing more important tournaments, so I'll get slightly more confident putting, but then the stakes are that much higher, and it's just a constant, trying to live up to the expectations of the moment. So unfortunately, my biggest opportunity is putting.
And there you go. So how do you handle bad shots or bad rounds, especially when it matters?
Mm, how I handle bad shots. So I kind of wear my heart on my sleeve. You can always kind of tell how I'm feeling or what I'm going through. But when I have a bad shot or a bad moment, I don't think there's any value in showing negative emotion or letting it get to you. I don't think that does anything for you. So if I have a bad shot, I try and immediately just understand what happened, why it was a bad shot. If anything, you'll see me maybe like snap my fingers as like dang it, I messed up. But you'll never see me throw stuff or kick stuff or start swearing. I just don't see any value in putting that energy out there, so I usually try and just take a deep breath, try and figure out what happened, and just move on.
There you go. Okay, so before we continue, I want to thank Great Lakes Disc for supporting Pure Rhodes Disc Golf and helping make this interview series possible. If you're looking for disc, bags, apparel, or anything else disc golf, be sure to check out Great Lakes Disc using my affiliate link in the description below. Every purchase through that link helps support the channel and this series. Now let's get back to our conversation with Will. So, what does life look like for you outside of disc golf?
Life outside of disc golf. So, outside of disc golf, I like being active. I like being outdoors. So, spending time with my wife, our dog, going on walks, bike rides. If I have any excuse to be outside, I usually am. Spending time with friends, socializing. But disc golf does take up a large part of my free time when it is nice out. So I'm usually doing that. But in the winter at nights, play some video games. I'm a pretty big gamer in the winter. But yeah, just socializing, hanging out with friends, hanging out with the wife, and occasional gaming here and there.
I was just say because unfortunately here in Michigan you can't do much during the winter. I mean, it gets a little cold, so
Yes, yeah,
yeah.
just like
Or like right now, you can't go outside much because you get baked by the sun. So hey, we can't win for losing right now. So,
very true.
um, so how do you balance disc golf with everything else going on in your life?
Mm, well, I'm thankful right now. I don't have too many other responsibilities. Disc golf takes up a large portion of my free time. I'm very thankful for my wife, who's understanding of the passion I have for disc golf, and allows me to go out and play as much as I can. So there's not too much else to balance, but I want to make sure I'm setting time aside for her and my family and my friends. But disc golf does take up a large portion of my time right now.
So has disc golf taught you anything about yourself?
Oh, it's taught me a ton about myself. As I mentioned earlier, I didn't play a lot of sports growing up, so learning and competing, and especially with disc golf being a solo sport, if you lose, you don't have a team to blame, or when you're winning, it's all on yourself. So the ups and downs of disc golf, it teaches you a lot about yourself, how you handle failure, how you handle success, how you train, a ton about your mental fortitude. It teaches you a lot, and these are things that you can apply to just life in general, because there's going to be successes and failures in life. And what lessons did I take from succeeding or failing in disc golf that I can apply to my job, my life. It taught me a ton, and I'm looking forward to the additional challenges and things that disc golf will continue to teach me going forward.
So, is there one disc you lean on when things get tight?
Yes, I would definitely say, because I do have my bag next to me. Probably this zone here is affectionately known as Goldie. And whenever I'm in a tough spot, this is usually the disc I'll go. If I'm looking for a disc in the woods, this is usually one of the ones I'll grab to take in there with me to scramble. It's more of an overstable run, so if I have to throw a hyzer, a flex shot, it's very consistent in the couple of years I've had it. So this is usually the guy I'll go to if I'm in trouble and I need to get out of a tricky situation.
There you go. So, is there a disc that you would recommend to someone trying to level up?
So when you say level up, that to me is describing someone who plays disc golf, but is more getting into the upper level of skill. I would probably say, where is it? I would probably say the MVP trail. And the reason for this is this mainly like my wood carving machine. If it's a little more not as windy in the open, I can use it to shape some shots. But the reason why I say the trail is, for me, this is a like hyzer flip to flat, or throw it flat and it gets a little flex out of the woods. I would say this is a great disc for learning how to throw shapes. It's a great disc for learning how to hyzer flip. And being a 10 speed, you do have to throw it a little harder. As I mentioned, I'm not a power thrower. I'm like low to mid 60s mile an hour. But I would say this is a great disc for learning shapes, learning how to throw hyzer flips. And those are two skills that are very important if you're looking to level up in disc golf. So I think this is a great disc that will help you learn how to do that.
I had a special edition trail in my bag.
Hmm.
Took it out. I'm thinking about putting it back in because I've tried some of the other trails. Couldn't get to flip as well as that one. That one
Hmm.
I really was able to put on hyzer and flip it right up to flat. And
Hmm.
so I think that might help my driving if I can get that back in the bag and maybe start throwing that a little more off the tee. I think that might help. So I'll
Yeah,
have to get that back in the bag, I think.
for sure. And that's a neutron trail. They did a run if you're having a hard time, you or anyone getting
Mm-hmm.
it to flip up as much, they did a run of fission trails that are a lot
Mm-hmm.
more understable. And that may be a good segue into, developing that skill set.
Okay. I'll have to look into that maybe. So we mentioned earlier that you're the captain of Team Great Lakes Disc.
Hmm.
What has that role meant to you?
Oh, it's meant a ton. I've been when I first learned about Great Lakes Disc and Shay and all the stuff he does for the community. I've been a huge I respect the work that he does both for the shop, his local community, and just disc golf in general. And I wanted to help support all the things that he does. So when I joined Great Lakes Disc, I was super proud to represent them. And over the years, obviously, I worked my way into this team captain role, and it just means a ton to represent a company and a team that do so much for disc golf and do so much for the community. And I'm just incredibly proud to help support them in their mission to do everything they do for disc golf.
I can totally concur with that. This is my first year being on the team, and just a little bit I've been on the team. Like you said, Shay is very supportive, not only of the community, but
Hmm.
I mean, where was I at? I played a tournament here recently, Shore Acres,
Hmm.
and my first round, I bombed it. It just it was bad. And second round got done. Who's the first one to meet me after the second round was Shane. He's like, David, way to go, way to improve that score. And it's just little things like that.
Hmm.
Just he makes you feel good. You may. I mean, I would nowhere consider myself anywhere good. I think my rating's like I don't know what my rating is now. I think it's 5 something. I don't remember anymore. I don't even look at it halftime anymore. But he's there to support. I mean, he doesn't matter if you're a 900 rated, a 500 rated. Um, I actually had the opportunity a couple weeks ago to play a league round with him at Garfield Park in Grand
Yeah.
Rapids, and that was so fun. I mean, it was a blast. I mean, that's probably the funnest round I played was, but the guy, he's down to earth. You would think, you hear about Shay but that guy is down to earth. So I think that's, you hit the nail on the head, really. I mean, so I guess next question would be, what do you love most about the disc golf community?
Oh, I mean, the thing I love the most about the disc golf community, disc golf specifically, um, everyone is so passionate about it. Disc golf is one of those sports where if you play it 9 times out of 10, you are all in about it. You're super passionate about it. If you go to a tournament or a disc golf adjacent event, everyone there is going to love disc golf. You're going to have something in common to talk about. Um, Social media, you'll get friend requests from people just because they're fellow disc golfers and they know you're a disc golfer. So I would just say the sense of community, everyone's so friendly. And even if you're not, I consider myself to be a pretty, socially reserved person, which I've been working on over the years. But I know that when I go to a tournament or somewhere, I can talk to people about the thing I love and the thing I enjoy, and that being disc golf. So I think just the sense of community is awesome.
Oh yeah. So what advice would you give to someone just getting started?
I would say if you're just getting started, don't put as much or any emphasis on your results or your score or your distance. I think when you're just getting started, the most important thing is just to have fun. Like the thing that got me hooked at the beginning was the flight, the fun of throwing discs. If you're out there and you're having fun and you're throwing and you're hanging out with your friends or you're meeting new people, that's what really matters. Develop your skill set on your own time. It doesn't matter what you're scoring. And then as you start to get a little more proficient and a little more comfortable, you can start keeping track and, seeing if you progress over time or join a league or play some tournaments. But if you're just getting started, don't worry about the score. Don't worry about keeping, comparing yourselves to others. Just as long as you're having fun and getting out there and throwing discs, that's all that really matters.
So, what goals are you chasing right now, disc golf or otherwise?
I would say most of my goals are disc golf oriented because just in life, I'm kind of a go with the flow kind of person. So I try not to put too much stake in goals. I kind of just like to tackle problems as they arise. But with disc golf specifically, my most recent goal was to hit 975 rated. And a little more of a broad goal was to be one of the best pros in Michigan. And with this last ratings update, actually, I was the 20th highest rated pro in Michigan. And I would say I did achieve that goal. So my next goal that I had to set very recently is to get to 1,000 rated. And I really want to play a world championship. The world championships this year is actually in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm working very hard to try and get into that. I'm on the wait list and I'm signed up for the qualifier. So we'll see if that happens. But if not, Worlds next year is in Portland, I believe. And the year after that, I think, is in Europe. So both of those would be cool to play. And I just want to get at least one under my belt. So those are probably my goals right now.
Speaking of, the best in the state of Michigan for pros, you've got a big tournament coming up this next weekend. The Michigan Professional State Championship presented by Discraft.
Yes.
Got any thoughts or how you feeling going into that? It's being played at Little John, I believe. I
Yes.
remember in Allegan. Yep, I actually got to play in one of the first tournaments held there once the course was
Mm.
finished, and it was fun. Very demanding course, but it was a fun course. Um, the memory I have the most is we were on our last hole of the second round, and the one of the designers of the course was there. He was spotting on the one hole, and he my second shot. I ended up in the rough in my drive. Went to throw my second shot, hit a tree probably 10, 15 feet in front of me. Disc went straight up in the air, landed up in the crook of the tree, and just sat there. And he's like, I've never seen that before ever in my years of disc golf. And I'm like, he goes, that's a first for me. I'm like, well, that's cool. So I thought that was kind of cool that I got a really weird first, but it was cool.
Yeah,
So,
it takes talent.
yeah. So, what are your thoughts? How you feeling? Are you nervous, excited, or just kind of like, yeah, it's another tournament?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I love competing at the state championships. I'm used to playing them when they were at Brewer. And the interesting thing about this year is that I have not played Little John yet.
Okay.
Logistically, I don't think I will be able to get out there before the tournament, so I'll be playing at least my first round blind. But James told me it's not too bad, and Zach on the team posted a video as well. So I'm going to watch his walkthrough and see if I can get some eyes on what some of the holes are. But I'm excited. I don't think I've ever played a tournament blind, but as I mentioned before, I'm pretty good with shapes and distances. So I don't think it'll be too bad. The interesting thing, besides playing it blind, is I think we're forecasted for some thunderstorms throughout the better part of the weekend.
Yeah,
So,
this weekend's not looking the best. There's supposed to be rain. Most of the heat wave will break, and then the rain's supposed to hit. So we'll
yeah.
see. I know. I have signed up for one of the biggest tournaments that Great Lakes is sponsored over there, the River City Open. I am playing
Mhm.
in the amateurs, and we will be playing our third round at Little John, so that'll be fun. First
Yeah.
two rounds will be at Fallsburg. Last round will be at Little John. Both courses I really like, and I shot pretty good both times I've been there, so we'll see what happens. But
Yeah. There you go.
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do some rapid fire questions, so just try to give me the quick answer. Favorite
Okay.
course you've ever played?
Uh, Probably Fountain Hills in Arizona. I really enjoyed that.
You already kind of answered this earlier, but go to disc.
Go to disc. I'm gonna say the zone.
Forehand or backhand?
Probably backhand.
Okay. So I end every episode with the same question. What does disc golf mean to you right now in your life?
Oh, I mean, disc golf. It honestly it means everything to me. As I said, I've been playing since 2013. It kind of took over my life, as you can see behind me. I'm very invested in the sport. I've played over 125 tournaments. Made a ton of friends, made countless memories. I'm challenging myself. And I don't know if I would be, where I am or living the life I am without disc golf. So, I I owe a lot to it, and it means a ton to me.
Well, Will, thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. I really appreciate you sharing your story and talking about your journey, your role with Team Great Lakes Disc, and everything you're doing to help grow the sport. If you've enjoyed this episode of Pure Rhodes Profiles, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Pure Rhodes Disc Golf, and let me know down in the comments who you'd like to see on a future episode. And once again, thank you to Great Lakes Disc for supporting the channel. If you'd like to support both them and Pure Rhodes Disc Golf, be sure to use my affiliate link in the description. I'm David. This has been Pure Rhodes Profiles. Until next time, keep throwing and have fun.